Shadows crawl and nightmares call. Brace yourselves, one and all. It's the Scare Factor Podcast, Season 4.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Scare Factor Podcast, the number one haunt podcast, something, I don't know, it's on the internet. You're listening to it. My name is Bryan of Team Skelligore in Central New York. Joining me, as always, Vince of Team Skeleton Crew in Atlanta, Georgia. Vince, how are you?
I am great tonight. And how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Also joining me, as always, this evening, Taylor of Team Brady Pack, somewhere in the Midwest. Taylor, how are you?
Good. Glad to finally be back.
I'm glad that you are finally back. Also joining us this week, we have a special guest, Craig Newton of Nightmares Gate Haunted House in Douglasville, Georgia. Craig, how are you?
Doing quite well. Thanks for inviting me to the channel.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I understand this was a little bit short notice. Vince sent you a message last night. Big thumbs up to you because getting a guest on this show, as I've said in the past, is like trying to get a group together to play D&D. Everybody's interested until it comes time to do it, and then nobody shows up.
Hunters are notorious for, like my business partner, Ben, who's my brother in every way that matters for haunting, and the ancient tradition of bleeding, sweating, and every emotion that you can imagine in creating a haunt. He wants the haunt to do the speaking for him, and I know that most haunters really are like that. There aren't a whole lot of us that are comfortable in the spotlight, but as you can tell, I don't mind talking.
That's quite all right. That's why we're here to talk. We have plenty of time to fill. So this week we are talking about what haunts want customers to know before they show up. I mean, there's got to be something, right? Before we get into that, let's get to know Craig a little bit. So, Craig, tell us about you and your haunt.
Well, Nightmares Gate Haunted House came about. I had previously owned a haunted house with Carissa Garland and Travis Beck called Psycho Shack in Villa Rica, Georgia, that we then moved to Douglasville. And we had a wonderful time together. The year after that, and all this is going back about 20 years, I actually had intended to start Nightmares Gate then. And that was when the economy fell through. So as opposed to starting a haunted house at a horrific time in the economy, I was approached by Six Flags Over Georgia, and they asked me to come in and rebuild their haunted house, retheme it, and then direct the show. And while I was there, I met Ben Blair, who his wife, Jennifer, had worked with me previously at Psycho Shack. And we were just immediately a dynamic duo. Between the two of us, we had every imaginable skill set for construction, creation, and we just developed this fierce, argumentative, creative process between the two of us. And I fell in love with what we could make together. And so when it was time to move forward with Nightmares Gate, he was an obvious choice. He approached me at about the same time I was ready to approach him. So it was fate, and better so.
Very cool. So about how long have you been in the industry total? Has it been about that 20 years or has it been longer?
It's been a little more than 20 years. And I was trying to remember what year I started. I came back from the Navy, and my sister had been working at Six Flags Over Georgia. And she asked me to come out. They were having trouble with some of their animatronics. And so I went out and took a look at them and got everything up and running for them again, as well as some items in what used to be known as the Okefenokee Swamp and then later became the Monster Plantation. Got some of that going for them. And she said, you know what? We need to design and build our own animatronics. And I didn't know. I mean, we had been haunters as kids. We had done it for churches. We had done it for the neighborhood. From the time she was 5 and I was 7, we were involved with local haunted houses all the way through until I left for the Navy. But we didn't know the professional world, and she asked me to let's design an animatronic. Well, I didn't know what to design, so I asked her, and we talked about it amongst ourselves. And unfortunately, my background is military aviation. I was a flight engineer in the U.S. Navy, and so the first animatronics that we built and took to Transworld in Chicago, again, this is 20 plus years ago, I made out of 3/4-inch plate aluminum. The first animatronic that I built was a humanoid animatronic that had full range of motion, as far as arms and legs, neck, bending of the torso, twisting of the head, moving of eyes. So I built a $20,000 animatronic that no one would in their right mind purchase. So we took 3 of them to the show. This was a company we called Coffinations, and we also built animated coffins that wound up being sold in a variety of places. And we took them there, and a number of people in the haunt industry came over and they marveled at what we had built, but no one's going to buy it because I overshot the mark of what the market could bear, what was reasonable. Those first animatronics I'm talking about were specifically designed so it could be the size of a small child and adjustable by adjusting a series of knobs and dials so that it could then be a 6'4" human or 6'4" adult. So it was an adjustable animatronic. It was insane. No one would ever do that in their right mind. If you come by the haunt at some point, I can still show you the skeleton of one of them. But so we made that effort and then realized that we had shot way too far with what we had built. And then we had the discussion, well, we've already got enough stuff to start a haunted house. Why don't we actually start our own? That's how Psycho Shack came to be. So my history in haunting is long and varied, but in an official capacity, I've been in it about 20 years.
That is, wow. That is quite the background. So when Nightmares Gate started, how did the idea of that kind of come about? Like, was there a theme that you had in mind initially, or was it just like, hey, here's kind of what I've done in the past. Let's see if we can build on that.
So much of my life, I have Forrest Gumped my way into weird situations and been very fortunate that they say if a man is brave, luck will sometimes serve a man. And that is certainly true of myself and probably every successful haunter out there. I was driving past what used to be the Sam's Club that is right in front of where Six Flags is. It is now, I think they call it the epicenter. It's this huge church activity location. Neat place. But at the time, it had stopped being a Sam's Club. They had put millions and millions of dollars of RVs into it. And in order to protect their investment, because the crime in that area at the time was much worse than it is now, they put this magnificent metal ornate gate. And it had these sharp crenellations, and it was just beautiful. And as I drove past it, I said, that is a nightmare gate. And a light bulb went off, and I said, that's my haunted house. That's my idea. Everything in my show, and then once Ben came involved, it was our show. Everything in our show is from Nightmare. So it gives you the ability to alter your storyline, which has been so helpful over the years, because we have routinely built a show, added to it each year. And then after a certain period of time, be it 3 to 5 years, we tear it out completely and start over for another nightmare. And so after all these years, we've had a prison theme where we had an incredible facade out front. Our first year in business, we spent $20,000 on creating this prison facade that was so realistic. We've always shot for realism. Was so realistic that people came by and actually thought it was a real prison. Which there's trompe-l'oeil, which is the art of fooling the eye that the French talk about, but it wasn't that realistic to me, at least. But apparently, to a lot of the not just customers, but people of Douglas County, they thought we had legit built a prison in Douglas County. There was some concern over that. We have always believed that with our shows, you have to start with the pretty. You have to build it right. You have to make it look right. Because if you're going to fool people, and again, trompe-l'oeil is one of my favorite phrases, one of my favorite ideas of the trick of the eye, it has to look like it started right. And then once you've built it right, you've built it so that it's pretty, then you destroy it to tell the story. So that when someone sees it, there instantly gets a vision in their mind and a feel for what the story is. Whether it's the story you're trying to tell or not depends on how well you portray it. But regardless, if they see it and a story starts to come to mind, you've already started to win that battle. And facades for us been a huge push for what we've done from the beginning. So that was the first one was a prison theme, which was a lot of fun. We started, I guess, about 5 years in, hiring Alan Hops and the lovely Shannon Hops to come in and help consult with us. They've been our gurus all along. And one of the things that we decided to do at that time is change the theme. We gutted everything and turned it into a hospital theme, haunted hospital, beyond the nightmares. After several years of that, we wound up moving from our original location, and we took over roughly a third of what is the bowling center in Douglasville, Georgia. They were in the process of purchasing an existing bowling alley. They had a huge area on the left-hand side. We came in and took that over. Unfortunately, we were not able to build the facades. They didn't want the crazy haunted house facades out front. And for that reason, after a couple of years there, again, as haunted hospital with that, we decided that it was time for us to own our own location so we could build whatever we want. We didn't have to argue with anyone about anything. And so what we did then is right up the street, there was a perfect 95 era roller skating rink called Dazzles that the community loved. Well, it had unfortunately gone out of business a couple years earlier, and so we bought the facility, and so we have been on a 5-year plan there. So now all of those previous themes are gone. We have a long-standing, what we had last year, and I'm going to say this now: if you've not been to Nightmares Gate Haunted House in the past 4 years, you've not been to Nightmares Gate Haunted House at all. So the show that we had last year, where you were going into the swamp had some amazing setting, characters, elevations, an awful lot of fun, but that's gone now. So there's going to be a brand new show there. We're not ready to release that theme just yet, but that was there originally. So then we built the Haunted Mansion style. That's a huge section of our show. And if you go online and take a look at some of the pictures on Instagram, Facebook, and whatnot, you'll see that we have this magnificent facade out front that looks like a haunted mansion. It's amazing. We, I guess about 7 years ago, brought in Kayla Crane as our general manager and our artistic director. And so Ben and I can build anything, and she could make just a pile of rubbish on the ground look amazing, but we build her the quality product underneath it, and then she distresses it and makes it look amazing. So there's that section. Last year, we opened the Dream Center. The Dream Center is a Dream Center that has been taken over by AI, which is the nightmare involved there, with amazing animatronics, a lot of elevation changes, some very exciting animatronics in the industry. We were discussing before everything started recording, my business partner, Ben, who he and I have never taken money back out of the show. We do this because we love it. We absolutely adore it. So the two of us have been putting a sizable portion of our income back into the show every year on top of whatever it makes. Well, Ben's day job, his business that he owns, which is a pool cover business for really high-end pools, very complicated systems that automatically cover the pool. You have to hold the switch in order to be legal, but they are extremely high-tech applications, and he's made a very nice career for himself doing that. And instead of traveling the world and driving a Bugatti or whatever in the world that most other guys our age would do, he has just sunk hundreds of thousands of dollars over the past 4 or 5 years after spending, $20,000-$30,000 a year for all the years before that. And so our growth has been exponential. We now have a tremendous number of some of the top animatronics in the industry. We have the only AI-controlled animatronic in the United States right now, as we understand it. We bought that at Transworld last year. We bought it the year before so we could have it for last year. There tends to be about a 1 year waiting period on those. But we actually, in the AI takeover of the Dream Center, you walk in and he talks to you. He's actually interacting with your group. He's asking questions and responding to your responses. And no one else in the country has that. So we're pretty proud of what we've built. Now, this year's show, which we're not going to announce for about another month, we hold very close to the vest our new shows. But if you happen to be in Douglasville, Georgia, and we're about 10 miles west beyond Six Flags, if you come by our show and take a look, and it's a sight to see. The Dream Center and the Haunted House facades are out there. The front of our show is longer than a football field. And so 2/3 of the show has that. 1/3 of the show now has a new facade that has risen from the ground and is taller than the others, and I have to say more majestic. And I can't wait for you to see it, but we're not ready to announce that one just yet.
Yes. So going back to one of the first things you said was, if you haven't been in the last 4 years, you haven't been at all. I can confidently say I have never in my life been to your haunt, but now I really want to go. Let alone in the last few years have I never been, just ever.
We got to fix that.
Yeah.
I can tell you. So I'm the one who's been and seen it, at least for the last decade, probably 10 to 12 years, and seen the changes that have gone through. I still couple of memories from your first location there. It struck me as unique. It struck me as fun because when I first got there, you enter the haunt, you had to crawl through a hearse to get into the haunt. You crawling through the back of the hearse, which was a cool way to get into a haunt. The other standout thing from that haunt, I'll always say, was a swamp room. And it wasn't as big as the one that you've built with the new location, but it was tight, more compact swamp room, thick fog, and this all worked. You're walking over a rope bridge, and you've got like reptilian characters coming at you from all directions, and you don't see them coming. That was the coolest swamp room I think I've ever been in.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that. That's Ben's fault. Ben, we discuss things, and he and I will fight tooth and nail. A lot of the people that show up during the build think that he and I hate one another. He's my brother in all things. I'd kill or die for him. But we fight over every detail, and since Kayla has come to be a part of it, she hops right in the fray. She's a little thing. Ben and I are both over 6'2", over 250 pounds. I'm not going to tell you how much over, but we're both big boys. And Kayla does not back down. She comes after us like a. I'm going to be careful not call her a rabid chihuahua because that would be inappropriate. But she is fierce, tiny but fierce, to quote Shakespeare. So we feel like we create some amazing things. We have a phenomenal group of people that come, some paid, some volunteer, that show up every weekend, and they work their tails off with us. Ben, Kayla, and Melinda are typically there most of the week, if not all of the week. I'm in there every weekend. My day job as a robotics engineer keeps me very busy Monday through pretty much all of Friday. But late Friday and every Saturday and Sunday, you'll find us there from 6 a.m. till 6 p.m. Building the next stage, building the next thing. It's a passion that we just can't get out of. Cannot get out of.
Such is the life of a haunter. So I got one final question for you before we actually get into the topic tonight. If your haunt was a food, what food would it be and why?
Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you that my feeling on it is that we're not the food, we're the spice. Right?
Oh.
We are, if you like hot ones and hot sauce, that's the idea. So when you show up to a haunted house, what is your mood when you show up in the first place? What are you bringing to the table? Because in a haunted house, you're not just watched Superman. Loved Superman. It was amazing. I can tell you some of my favorite movies in the world. I would have trouble telling you who I saw that movie with. Obviously not Superman. I just saw it. Saw it with my wife, my friend Natalie. But for movies going back a distance, I would have trouble telling you who I saw them with. But a quality haunted house you're not watching it, you're experiencing it. You're going through that with friends and family, coworkers, strangers in some cases, but it's a shared experience. It's a shared experience with highs and lows that are coming at you faster and harder than pretty much any other non-life threatening situation in the world. And so we've all heard stories of people that have developed lifelong friendships with people that they experience something with. And while you know that you're coming to a haunted house and you're safe, part of you does not know that. So we're attacking your limbic system through startle, shock, awe, spectacle. And through that, what you are bringing to the show, we are adding the spice. So I think that the customer is the meal and we're the spice.
Good old trauma bonding. Okay, so
That's
if you're
it.
the spice, then what spice are you?
I'm going to have to say we're the bomb. If you like
The
that show,
bomb.
we are the bomb.
But that's a hot sauce. That's not a spice, right? I mean, like coriander's a spice.
It's pretty spicy.
It is spicy.
Hot sauce.
Cayenne,
Yes, then I
right?
should probably
Yeah.
say I should probably say hot sauce then. Yeah. So,
So
you know, like
you're
at
the sauce.
the beginning of that show, you've got those nice soft spices or hot sauces. Near the end, it gets pretty brutal. Depends on what you want. We have ways to curtail your experience as well.
So without further ado, I think maybe we should just get into the topic this week with, what time we actually have left here. We're only halfway through the runtime on this episode. No big deal, guys. So, like I said at the top, we are talking this week about what haunts want customers to know. And so I think the best way to structure this is going to be to just kind of go through the structure, the order that a customer would experience everything in, from, looking things up about the haunt online to buying their tickets to getting there, just kind of the order they would go through it in. So right off the start, let's talk tickets, whether that's buying them online or buying them at the ticket booth. The question that I have here is, do people understand, or do most people seem to understand they need to show their online purchase at the ticket booth? Or, what's something you want people to know before buying a ticket?
There's a variety of ways to purchase tickets in today's world. Online is preferable, and then you bring that information. The reason that we take it to our ticket booth, not to put too fine a point on it, is fraud. We have had to overcome some issues as far as that goes, and every time that we come up with a new system or implement a system that's already in existence, we find that fraudsters find a way around it. And one of the things that has worked very well for us is the system that we use now, that when you come on site, we do ask you to go to the ticket booth. The ticket booth does a couple things for you. Not only is it going to give you your physical tickets that we do ask you to hold on to, you also receive a certain amount of instruction and a little bit of indoctrination. What we do, we front load our ticketing area very heavily so that it can handle people coming in. You're never in our ticketing line long at all. One of the things that I learned with Six Flags is I don't want people, I hate long lines. I think if you have to be in the long line, the ability to enjoy the show starts to go down. We can entertain you out front. We want you to have fun out front, but we don't want you to spend the vast majority of your time at a haunted house standing in line. So our ticket booth is front loaded with a lot of personnel in order to take care of you. And if there's a problem, they're there to take care of it very, very quickly. And our partner, HauntPay, has done an amazing job with that, supporting us. And it's over the years we've used a lot, and they've done well for us. So, once coming on site, getting parked safely, we have police officers in the parking lot so that we don't have some of the issues with those invariable haunted house patrons who like to speed through parking lots. We try and minimize that in order to take care of our customers and our actors. But the ticketing has worked pretty well for us. On occasion, someone will show up and hop into one of the 3 lines to go into the show. If they make it to the front, they don't have their ticket yet. Now, number one, we routinely go through and we ask people that are standing in those lines if they do have their ticket yet or not. But if they make it to the front, we take them directly to the front of ticketing. Someone gets them their tickets immediately and gets them right back to the front of the line. It's a momentary hesitation, if at all.
So it sounds like you have ticketing down to an absolute science.
I wouldn't say that. We have it down to a level of chaos that we can work with.
Fair enough. So you kind of already answered this. So when people are rolling up into the parking lot, like what are common things that people are doing that you wish they would stop doing, or the other way around, like what are people not doing that you wish they would? And is there anything you think haunts can do to kind of solve those problems?
The problems that you have in the parking lot are security and safety issues, and life safety. I'm stealing this from so many previous haunters. Life safety is your most important aspect of haunting. It's got to be your number one priority. You've got to make sure that your people, and by that I mean your customers and your actors, are safe. The public in general. You know, kids and adults peel out, laying rubber in parking lots and things such as that. So in order to help minimize that, we have very carefully engineered our parking lot. It's a one-way giant circle, one way in, one way out. It's not two ways of traffic. You drive past a police officer as you come onto property, and you drive past a police officer as we're towards our ticketing area. And the reason that we have laid that out such is that we have our facades that run down the length of the building. So each one occupies roughly a third. And in front of that, I have a nice deep area for the customers to move back and forth where nothing from the parking lot can get there. We have ballards all the way up and down through it. Then we have a police officer protecting them from the road. We have very specific pass-through areas. So we want people to come and be safe. We want people to come and have a good time. But we have to take care of them while they're there.
I was just going to say, as far as anything that haunts could do to solve it, it sounds like it's like any haunt needs to have careful planning about where access points are and things like that. And like you've carefully laid out where you have police stationed to help maximize safety. So just some forethought that any haunt should do with their parking area.
So important.
Yeah.
It's so important. If your staff outside is having to spend too much time concerned for their safety, I mean, we train them to have their head on a swivel. I've got security outside above and beyond the officers. We have support people out there for them. But I don't want them to have to pull themselves out of character in order to look out for themselves. So we give them very specific areas in which they can operate, certain areas that they can run after people. By the way, if you're a customer at a haunted house and you run from someone, expect to be chased. That's you're feeding the sharks. That's what they live for. And I have adults that the rest of the year probably haven't run more than 20 feet at a time, but during haunt season, they're running marathons out there because it's you're just feeding the sharks. They love it.
As a former actor, I can attest to this.
Yes, 100%. The energy that it gives you. Energy is insane. For haunt actors or for haunt patrons, I also want you to understand that when you're there, it's not, you're actually in something with these characters, these beings that they're inhabiting, because you're there for a couple of hours and your energy level is, I'm holding my hand up high. Your energy level is about as high as your hand can reach. And while these actors inhabiting these characters aren't quite matching your internal energy, they're probably 60% of it going to stay there for 5 or 6 hours every night. Their excitement, their love for what they're doing is what's feeding the energy that you're picking up from them. So again, it's a shared experience, but we're all in it together.
Well, I wanted to ask, since you have security guards and a police officer, I'm assuming you've had some pretty gnarly situations then?
Oh, yes. I was sucker punched by a crackhead. I've been a martial artist since I was 7 years old. I've taught martial arts for decades, and I made the mistake. This is before we had full-time security. I made the mistake of having my hands in my pockets, wearing a hoodie, and I thought that they were so cute and so funny, these two crackheads that were going through the show, that I turned to laugh at one and another one sucker punched me and headbutted me no fewer than 20 times before Ben was able to arrive and help subdue them.
Oh my gosh.
So, that was our most heinous incident, but there have been security issues over the years. There have. We've had fights in the parking lot. We've had fights in line. We have done a pretty good job of identifying when those are starting to happen. Our security has come into, and the goal is always to diffuse the situation. You're not going to battle with these people. That's not your job. I mean, if it is, you'll get yourself shut down. The vast majority of people are there to have a good time. Some people are just looking to stir things up no matter where they're at. And they look at a haunted house as an opportunity to do so.
Yeah, probably the adrenaline and stuff.
Oh, yeah. And so I have people on staff, quite a few of them that are former military, that are literally outside looking for the troublemakers so that they can go antagonize them. Antagonize them in a fun haunted house way. But if they start to respond in a negative sense, then I am immediately notified on the radio, as is the security on site, as is the officer on site. And then security is going to get closer and closer and closer. Quite often, we've gotten pretty good at this. I will go and talk to them and say, listen, if you're here to have a good time, then let's have a good time. Let's have a good time. But if you're not here to have a good time, let's get you your money back and send you on your way. Because this is not how this is going to go down here. Again, assault is assault, and we will prosecute. And we have prosecuted over things such as that. You've got to protect the public, and you've got to protect your people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. So, what should people know in their common areas and while heading into attractions?
Well, there's a couple different things. We ask because we have elevation changes. I don't want to give away the cheat codes, but if you are going up or down a ramp, right, we're not going to do anything that's going to startle you. There's a lot of spectacle when you're going up and down a ramp. There's a lot of excitement. But if you're on flat level ground, I will try and scare you so bad you fall to the ground screaming. But if you are transitioning from level ground up and down, then what we try and do is make sure that we're not going to shock scare you, not jump scare you in that moment.
No scares on stairs.
No scares on. Well, we don't have stairs. We have 0 stairs. We have at this point a wheelchair can make it all the way through our show. I do still have one section that I give someone that's in a wheelchair the option whether or not they want us to push them through it, or if they want to work around it, and I have the ability to do that. If someone is in a wheelchair, we don't let their friends push them because their friends will kill them. You scare that friend and they'll drive them right into the wall. And the last thing you want someone that knows the story to be pushing that wheelchair. So it's that's an important aspect. Again, it's all about them coming to have a good time. So we ask people to not wear open-toe shoes because we don't want someone stubbing a toe, hurting themselves. I know there are some haunted houses that sell shoes or rent shoes, like bowling shoes. If someone shows up in high heels and whatnot. So that is actually a sign that's at the front of all of our shows, no open-toed shoes. So we do try and get people to do that.
So when people are moving inside the haunt, do you have issues with people breaking out phones or like cell phone flashlights and things like that, and kind of spoiling the setup? And how do you deal with that?
Well, we try a gentle way initially. The characters are trained in a myriad of ways. Each different character has different personalities, so we train them to have different responses. You don't want 75 plus actors all doing the exact same thing for the exact same situation. So based upon what the personality of their character is, I have one guy that will steal your phone. He'll snatch it out of your hand. He'll make you barter to get it back. I have other people that will come up, carry on about the magic box. Why is the magic box on fire? And so gentle reminders to start with. If it's a continued issue, then I have every area has radios, every area has cameras. We can see when these problems are developing, and then a member of staff goes and politely says, "Either you're going to have to put it away, or you're going to have to leave."
So, you already kind of took a lot of this question. You already you took the wind out of my sails here. You stole basically all of the answer of the question I'm going to ask you. But like, what is a bad interaction, right? I mean, you talked about like combative guests and people who are on substances, things like that. But I mean, like, what outside of that, what does a bad interaction look like? And I mean, you've already talked about people getting violent. We don't need to get back into that.
Yeah.
But like, what's a bad interaction, right? Somebody's just not having a good time. Like, how does that get addressed, right? The meme on the internet right now is, the Karen, right? They want to talk to your manager. All right, well, you've shown up. You are the manager.
Yes.
What?
I am the man.
What are the common issues that they're bringing to you? I'm not having a good time because.
Well, ironically, the things that we'll catch most often is your monster screamed at my son.
Oh, give me a fucking break. That's the point, lady.
Exactly. We don't get a whole lot of people are bored. Now you've got, and I'm going to tell you this to tell you the next step. We let first responders with current ID, police officers, fire department, active duty military in for free. And part of why we do it is because we get to play these silly games because they keep us safe. Right? But those people are used to charging into gunfire, literal fire, emergencies of all sorts. Those people show up and they have the best time of anybody because they're not putting up a front. They're not pretending to be brave because they know they're brave. They don't have to pretend anything. And they will scream like little children and hurl one another at the monsters. They're the best customers. The worst customers in the world are the young men who, I'm not afraid. Nothing scares me. Nothing scares me here. And you've heard them in the line. If you've been in a haunt once, you've heard somebody in the line, somebody gets in my face, I'm going to punch them. Well, we listen for that. I'm a big boy. Ben's a big boy. Typically, we will just walk up and say, if you need to punch somebody, you need to punch me so that the officer here can take you to jail. Because we're not going to be putting up with it. And I apologize for hopping back into the violence, but it's a part of what you have to be concerned with. So bad experiences, we don't really run into much. The people saying that you didn't scare me, we're watching. We see them. We're getting them.
I don't actually get scared by anything in a haunt. Vince is the same. Taylor's the same. I think the three of us are going to make a trip down this year.
Yeah.
We're going to go see it.
I will be there.
The challenge for you is scare us, right? And
Yes,
I don't mean just like,
100%.
get a good jump scare on us and startle us. That's too easy. No.
Yes.
I want real fear.
Well, here's the deal. You guys are going to show up and you know all the secrets. You know what angles they're going to be coming from. You know the type of approach they're going to have. You've got it down. But we can entertain you. We can make sure that you're having fun going through. We can give you that startle. We can give you the spectacle. Even if we can't scare you, my job's to entertain you. Those people's job is to entertain you, and they'll do it. You've been through our show for a decade, so.
I have. And that was a topic from like 2 podcasts ago. Is it scary or is it entertaining? And for us, we're looking for the entertainment side of it, for sure.
You guys are the monsters in the dark with us.
That's right. If you show me a good time, you make me laugh. You make me feel welcome, and like you give me an experience that nobody else is giving me. Great, I'm all about it.
Oh, yeah.
I, as a personal anecdote, I see a bunch of haunts every year, right, as a reviewer. But one of the things I've noticed is I'm a guy in my mid-30s, right? What's happening is I go through a haunt. If I'm going through alone in a walk-through attraction, yeah, I'm getting some attention thrown at me, right? It's the jump scares, it's whatever. Sometimes they'll startle me like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. That's a really good placement. But, I'm never like afraid. There's only one time I've ever truly been like, no, I'm not going through this scene. And it was at Evil Intentions in Chicago. They have this big mannequin room. No, absolutely not. We were talking to the owner afterwards, and he's like, I don't even go in there by myself to do work with the lights on.
That's awesome.
terrifying room. But, and it's like, but most haunts are just, they're trying to hit you with jump scares and, distraction scares and things like that. And it's like, whatever, it doesn't scare me, right? Because like you said, we've seen it all. We know where it's likely to come from. We see a good opportunity. We go, that's a dark corner. There's probably an actor in there. Right. So
well, that's what, for the haunters, you're always looking for the sublimely different or a different approach, something a little bit off, so that you can give them an experience that they really enjoy. We've been pretty fortunate. We've got a lot of haunts in the area that are not open on Sunday nights, and they come see us. We do our best to try and be open on a couple of weekends where a couple of them aren't. And a huge number of our local haunts come to, and we go to their place as well when we can. But scaring other haunters and entertaining other haunters is probably as good as it gets.
And it's hard to do, right?
It is.
But on the other side of that, like I go see hay rides every so often, right? Because, they are about the industry. And what I've noticed is I get largely ignored on a hayride because it's assumed that I'm just chaperoning, somebody else that like, oh, well, you're just here because you had to be. No, I'm here because I bought a ticket. Right. So entertain me, try to scare me, give me attention. Right. And what happens is as a former actor, I understand why this happens. You go for that low hanging fruit. You go for the teenage girls that are cowering in the corner of the wagon. Of course you are. It's too easy. But at the same time, like I paid for a ticket, too. Please come over here. Give me some of that love.
That's right. 100%. So we go through our actors and I don't know if you've ever done this. Well, it's basically like picking teams. When you just have a large group of people, you're 1, you're 2, you're 3, you're 4, you're 5, you're 6, you're 7. You're 1, you're 2. Okay, so we'll go through our acting crew and tell them, you're aiming for the second person in line. You're aiming for the fourth person in line. That way, now not to say that they're exclusively that. They're looking for the opportunities, but their default starting point is there's a specific person, specific place in line, which helps them time everything they're doing. I hate being the last guy and getting nothing.
Yeah, and a lot of haunts will train to scare to the middle of the group, that sort of thing. It's not the worst, default to have because you are hitting most of the group.
Well, and different haunts at different levels of their experience and time will train to scare forward as hard and fast as you can. Get that train moving and keep it moving. Particularly when the haunts hit that section of time where it's closer to the conga line we all dread. So they're looking to scare forward. Haunts that are new, we've all started haunts that in the first couple of years, you're sitting there 10, 15 minutes before the next group shows up. So you're doing long-form entertainment in a room. And you can afford to go after everybody in the group and have a personal interaction. And so that's some of my favorite haunts is some of the new haunts. Before they grow to the point that they're not going to be able to do that, I can enjoy that so much. Because like you said, we, particularly some of the bigger people, particularly the people that give off the vibe of been here, done this a million times, they go after the fruit that's going to feed them. Right? So we try and train our actors to do a little bit more.
Taylor, you want to take the last one here?
Sure. What is something you wish more customers knew before coming to your haunt? And then how are the ways to help educate them on it?
Something I wish that they knew. I wish that they knew, and we've touched on this a good bit before, I wish they knew that they are the heart of their own experience. The way that they approach it, the heart that they have when they arrive, changes everything. And it pertains to so much in life. I mean, there are people that walk into a crap situation and they just have the best time. So whatever we can do to magnify your evening, whatever we can do to augment, to give you an experience that you cannot get in any other way, is going to be built on what you've brought to the show in the first place. So that group of teenagers that are excited and yipping and carrying on and having a good time when they're in line are always going to have the best time going through. The group of people that's arguing and sullen, the line's too long, the people that are upset because they've waited till the last 2 weekends of Halloween and are surprised that the lines are hours long. and angry with you that they are, those people, it's hard to get them to have a good time. Once someone is angry, it's hard to entertain them. Once someone's angry, and this is why, it's a human thing. If you're really afraid and you're trying to get past it, anger is a tool to try and get past it. Who wants to be angry at a haunted house?
I mean, the actors are not even the actors, because they're just like stress relieving at the end of a long week. There is nothing more cathartic than screaming in a customer's face and being paid to do it.
Yes. Yes. It has saved lives. Haunting has saved lives of actors. It has taken people from profound areas of depression. It has taken wallflowers that they couldn't say crap. They're afraid to go and ask for ketchup at McDonald's. But they come into a show like ours or any haunt in America, and they work there, and they get to build that confidence a little bit at a time. So to me, the greatest benefit of what we do, that I get the greatest joy out of, is watching the growth of the young actors coming out of their shell. And that feeds everything that they do for the rest of their life. It totally changes their personality and gives them tools that they otherwise didn't have.
So I wanted to ask a question. I want to go back to, when customers are standing in line, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I'm sure everybody here has kind of experienced this. You're standing in the GA line, right? And you're stood there for, I don't know, a half an hour or something because it's a busy night. And it's just, that's the nature of the beast. And you're chatting amongst your group. You're not really paying too much attention to the people around you. And then you look over and there's some dipshit 17-year-old kid trying to take a sneaky hit off his vape. Now, from what I've heard from you this evening, as we've talked, is you are so extremely all about the customer experience. It sounds to me like if I went to your ticket taker and I said, hey, that kid over there was, vaping while standing in line, that's got to be against the rules, right? Somebody would get on a radio and go do something about it. But yes. I can't tell you how many times I've experienced this at other haunts like near me, and I get up to the ticket taker and I go, hey, by the way, this kid back here is, trying to vape while standing in line. They just look at me like, what do you want me to fucking do about it?
Yeah, they're welcome to smoke or vape as much as they want in the parking lot. Right. Not in my line. Sorry.
And I'm totally with you, right? I mean, I'm a smoker. I vape. I am all about show me where your smoking area is. Whatever. Yeah. It doesn't bother me, right? Like if you have a smoking area, great. If you don't have one, I'm just going to go out of the way somewhere. I'm going to try not to bother anybody. I'm certainly not doing it in line. I'm absolutely not doing it in the haunts. But, if the only spot you got is kind of behind the porta potties, well, guess what? I'm going to be back there like a fucking crackhead puffing on a vape. So I guess the question is, what advice would you give to people who are going to haunts, maybe in other states, haunts that are not yours, and they see things like this, right? They see the kid that's taking sneaky puffs on their vape in the haunt, on the hayride, in the line, in places where they shouldn't be. That level of, disobedience from others, what should they be doing, and how should they handle it when they get looked at and basically told nothing we can do?
Well, and again, that's a choice that each individual place has to make. To me, the question is, how important is your customer's experience? Are you going to let it be flavored, literally flavored, by someone else imbibing something while in line? And I don't want that, because again, if you're standing in line and you're angry because the people behind you are smoking up a cloud and driving you nuts, it's hard for you to be in the moment and enjoy your experience. So we handle it firmly, but in a friendly manner. We don't get threatening. We don't. Here's the situation. Your options are this: either to not be smoking and vaping here, or you can go do it out there, or the officer will take you and escort you from the property. Those are your options. It doesn't have to be a personal, emotional. We certainly don't try and escalate a situation, but there are certain situations that we don't want to permit.
Fair enough. Okay, so we have definitely probably gone over time on this one. Do you guys have anything else you want to add, or?
No, not really.
All right. So, things haunts want customers to know. It sounds like show up ready to have a good time. Don't be a dick. Don't be combative, and just don't be shitty in general. Which I think is just good life advice, really.
I agree.
Works in most cases.
That's right. And when it comes to tickets, just understand that like you may have to stand in a line. When it comes to the attraction, you may have to stand in a line. That's the nature of how things are. Look, until we can figure out how to fix that, that's just how it's going to be.
Absolutely.
So as I said, I think that's about all the time we have for today. Craig, how can people find you and the things that you create?
We're at nightmaresgate.com. We're on Instagram, Facebook, any number of ways you can reach out to us on those platforms. And of course, with Instagram, you've got all those teenagers in the parking lot with cell phones making amazing videos. So that is one of my favorite ways to see things for haunted houses these days.
Excellent.
These young creatives.
Yes, that's right. As obnoxious as a lot of them may be on the internet.
Yes.
You can find all of us here at The Scare Factor on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Check out our website, thescarefactor.com, to read reviews, find haunts, and to check out the newest sections, Spooky Spots, where you'll find fun and spooky places to go all year round. We're doing a bit of a facelift on the website right now. If you're listening to this in the far future, tell us how the rest of the website looks. How do you like it? I love how it's coming along, and I think you will too. This podcast is available on YouTube, Spotify, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Deezer, Player FM, and Podcast Index. If you're listening to it, you found it. We're still not on iTunes. The Scare Factor is now an affiliate of Frankenfuel, energy drinks for weirdos like you. Yes, you! You can get 15% off your order today by going to frankenfuel.com/scarefactor or by clicking the affiliate link in the show's description. Frankenfuel. Wake the dead, fuel the living. We've been Bryan of Team Skelligore,
Vince of Team Skeleton Crew,
Taylor of Team Brady Pack,
Craig of Nightmares Gate.
and this has been the Scare Factor Podcast. Stay scary.